course, the Elgin Fringe Festival going on right now. We've got lots of great performances. We've been having those fantastic interviews, giving you a little bit of a taste on what to expect for some of the many individual performers and what they're passionate about and what they do. We have our in-studio interview today. We want to welcome here to the stage Stephen Pickering for the Fringe Fest. Thanks so much for joining us here in studio.
Thank you, Matt, for having me. It's lovely to be
Absolutely.
here.
So, Stephen, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you heard about the Fringe Festival.
How did I hear about the Fringe Festival? I think I was cast in it once. I do theater in the area, and I've done a few shows in Elgin. Worked with Elgin Theater Company. I think I'd worked with them mostly up to that point. They were doing, I think, my first Fringe Festival. Well, I helped with. I didn't really help. I took pictures for Elgin Theater Company when they did Hamlet.
Nice. Yes.
Fringe Festival. I just took some pictures, and it was very lovely. My friend Madeline Franklin was involved with Elgin Theater Company at that point. She's like, "Come here and take some pictures." So I did. Yes. And the next year we had a global shutdown. Mm-hmm. You might have read about that. So,
yes.
Fringe Festival was virtual then, and we recorded an adaptation of Taming of the Shrew. It was sort of bent a bit and adapted, and it was very fun. It's called Taming of the Fool, and we recorded that, and that was on their virtual Fringe Festival. Then was it the following year after, something like that? Time is weird since the pandemic.
It is very strange.
All of the days just run together. Yep. But at one point, we had an opportunity. I had an opportunity to direct a show at Fringe Festival, and we were. I think it might have been one of the early years where they brought in the short showcase shows. So we had an opportunity to bring in a play adapted from a full play that my friend Eileen Mitchell had written called Pillow Fight, which was a parody of the Pillow Talk films. We had done a virtual performance of that, recorded over like Zoom in Barrington, but I really wanted to put it on stage, so I had an opportunity to bring that, and we brought that to Elgin Fringe Festival. Awesome. And then after that, Eileen put together her current group of people. Last year, we did what did we do last year? We did a parody of Picture of Dorian Gray, called The Picture of Dorian's Gray Hair. Oh. And that was in the short showcase. And that went really well. We had a really tight group of people. And so this year, Eileen adapted another one of her works. She adapted a musical she had written called Creature from the Public Domain, which is a parody of 50 science fiction films, and adapted that into a short play with some music called Creature Feature, which is part of Short Showcase A.
Okay. Now tell us a little bit about Creature Feature.
Creature Feature. Well, if you're a fan of 1950s science fiction monster films, you'll find a lot to like in this. It's a very fun, very fast, very witty parody where I play a brilliant scientist, and I want to say that right up front because that is my first line, and I want to prove to Eileen that I do know my lines. I play a brilliant scientist who is contacted by another brilliant scientist to eventually we have to thwart a series of monsters who are terrorizing various cities across the U.S. and finding ways to thwart those monsters. So if you're a fan of, The Blob, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, there's a lot of references. Invaders from Mars has some parodies. The more you know about those films, the more fun you're going to have. If you've never seen them, you're still going to have a ton of fun because the writing is so sharp. The comedy is so fast and it is so witty. There are jokes flying all the time on different levels. Sometimes there's 2 and 3 jokes flying at the same time.
Okay.
So you really want to catch it. And you might even want to see it a couple of times just to make sure you've caught everything.
Interesting. Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. I do like, especially with the Halloween season coming up. It's October. Creature Feature sounds like something That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah,
So is this
gets
what,
you right in the mood. And I think there will be a Halloween costume merchandising from our characters. I'm just kidding. No.
so is Creature Feature going to be a part of the performance at the Fringe Fest, or is it something different?
It is. It's in Short Showcase A. So it is.
Okay.
We're up at Side Street Studio. We are upstairs, up that one staircase. You know the staircase, but it's totally worth the trip.
Yes.
So we are in Short Showcase A. We are there Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon.
Awesome.
So we'll have three opportunities to catch us.
There you go. I love it. Tell us a little bit here too. So you're an actor. You're also a director as well. What kind of got you interested in doing all of this? Was it something that you were from very young, or was it something that progressed when you were older?
It's acting. It's the only thing I've ever wanted to do. I never really wanted to amount to anything. But I mean, even as a kid, like I would watch TV and I would realize that these were people, and this was a job, and that was a job I wanted to do. So yeah, that was always something I really wanted to do. Ooh, could I plug one more thing? In
Of
Fringe
course,
Festival?
absolutely.
Since I'm here, and I do want you to see Creature Feature in Showcase A, but I'm also appearing in live from the shallow end of the Gene Pool with Mobius Theater. It's their first year here at Fringe Festival. They will be in the Elgin Arts Showcase. They're here Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. So, and the show, you can definitely see both shows. So, and I recommend that you do so. Anyway,
Pretty cool.
please.
Yeah, the Mobius Theater is pretty cool. That's awesome.
It's very Mobius. I've been involved with Mobius Theater for, gosh, I hate to think about time, but over 30 years.
Wow.
On and off,
goodness.
here and there, but they have done a lot of they do a lot of sketch comedy, a lot of improv, environmental theater, murder mysteries, some plays, audio theater plays. They've toured around the Chicago area. They've hit a lot of the science fiction conventions. They have appeared at the World Science Fiction Convention, World Fantasy Convention. So they're an Elgin Fringe Festival.
There you go. Tell us a little bit here too. So do you have a certain process for preparing for your shows? Any routines, rituals, or unique ways that you get ready?
I rehearse. I learn my lines.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm also. Can I plug other things? That
Of course you can. Absolutely.
I'm very busy, but I'm also rehearsing with Janus Theater. I'm in the midst of rehearsing right now. Merchant of Venice.
Okay.
And Sean Hargadon, our director, described this process as being a kinetic learner when you learn as you're going through. And I was like, and that was totally me. And I'd never heard that phrase before. So thank you, Sean. I'd never heard that phrase before. I just thought I was slow. So I just thought everybody else did this so much better than I do, because I really, my process, the best way I learn is to learn the lines in conjunction with the blocking, in conjunction with the character arc. And sometimes you don't have that opportunity. And so to segment those, and some people segment those really well, and they come in, they can learn the lines and then come in and block. And but my process, if you will, my training, I'm mostly Stanislavski based. It becomes like, people say method and it becomes a thing, but it's not what you think it is. I think there's method acting and then there's being a jerk. But I do pull from other approaches too. I really like there's an actor, Jeff Seymour. He has a real life actor approach, and I listened to his podcast and I read his book, and I pull stuff from that. I pull from I was recommended years ago Jerzy Grotowski Towards a Poor Theater, which really impacted me, and so I pull things from that. So I pull from lots of different approaches. Pull a bit from Eisner, a bit from Uta Hagen, and a bit from I do have kind of a theory that every approach to acting since Stanislavski has been sort of a reaction to Stanislavski, either trying to pull something into, or define something or pivot away from, but it's all been a reaction to Stanislavski. So I think that's a really good place to start from. So that's where I started, and that's kind of where I go into. I try to get into who the character is, what is he doing, what does he want, what is those sorts of things, and then tie it into the words and tie it into the action, and just make everything homogeneous and real.
Yeah, I think that's important too. But do you also incorporate, so talking a little bit more about it being very real, do you incorporate your own personality into your characters and And how do you kind of tie that together?
For years, I always thought that I would pull my personality from whoever I'm playing. So
Yeah.
I literally, up until a few years ago, I didn't even realize I had a personality. Because I just would draw from whoever I'm playing. So I would try and tap into what they're like. Are they introvert? Are they extrovert? Are they are they scheming? Are they nice? Are they what? And pull those things. And I would kind of I don't know, kind of pull those things into me a bit. I'm starting to kind of parse out and figure out who I am. I have some really good friends who kind of help guide me and tell me what kind of person I am. So I've been listening to them, and that's been very helpful. So I guess you do pull in yourself, I guess, anytime you play a character, because you're I use this metaphor a lot when I'm coaching or directing, that, like in an orchestra, you have all these different instruments, and they're all playing the same music, but none of them sounds like the other. And in fact, like an oboe, two oboes right next to each other won't sound exactly the same. Because those instruments are different. And as actors, we are the instrument, right? So we can have the same script, but because it's coming through my instrument, it's going to look differently when I do it than if you did it or another actor did it or whatever. Yep. And so you could fight that, or you can embrace that. And I think it's good to embrace that, because it's that unique take that provides some insight. And you can find insights in characters from what other people have done, but also from what you bring.
Absolutely. And what's cool too about when you're being a character, sometimes you can realize things about yourself you didn't before, because you're acting out that character, and they might have something about them. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, that sounds similar to me. I didn't even realize that. So it's kind of interesting to see that when it comes to acting.
Well, and so much of the, if you're playing a character who isn't like you, or makes a choice that you don't make, but you have to kind of open yourself up to that possibility, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to explore that within yourself. Like, what would allow me to do that, or to be that, and go down that path, because you have to make that has to center, right? Even if you're doing like we're doing comedy with Creature Feature, it's very funny stuff, but it's very stylized, but it still has to have that core. It still has to be centered in that, right? And then you kind of reach out from there, and you kind of stylize from there. But you still have to bury it in that core. Otherwise, it feels artificial.
Right.
Like we have a phenomenal cast that does a really good job of creating these live characters and then stylizing them, so the comedy just works. It just floats off the page. It's so well written too.
Awesome. Very cool. Tell us a little bit here too. So this performance, the days that you're doing three times, correct? 3 for Creature Feature, yeah. Okay, very cool. How long are the performances, like the duration?
We're in the short showcase, so we go about 20 minutes. There's three shows in our slot. So when you come in, you get a ticket, you come in, you're going to get 3 shows. We're going to be one of those. We'll be the first one. And then there's an improv act, and then there's some other act that I don't know about yet, but I will find out, because they'll be there.
Awesome.
But I'm sure they're awesome, and you should stick around for it.
So tell us a little bit about the costumes. How does the costumes come into play with this? Is it very formal? Is it creepy? Is it how is it going to?
It's monster fun, and it's definitely I don't want to say costumes on a budget, but there's a little bit of a budget, but it's okay, because it works for what we're doing, because it's a parody. So we're not, while we have monsters, we're not really trying to scare people, much in the way of a lot of those 50s science fiction films, didn't look like, and we're trying to tap into that. And so being able to costume on a budget allows us to do that. So we can be a little cartoony in our look, and we embrace that.
That's fun.
But it does, you can tell who the monster is, who the scientists are, and who our butler is, who the Army colonel is, and all of the,
Now, you say you're from Fox River Grove.
I am from Fox River Grove.
So are you familiar with the Elgin area?
Yeah, I've done theater in Elgin now for quite a few years. I just saw John walk by from Elgin Theater Company.
Oh, nice.
Hi, John. So I've been in Elgin for quite a few years. My first Elgin show, it was MASH. It was quite a few years ago.
Oh, I've heard of that show, MASH.
Yeah, I got to think about how long. I was told there'd be no math today. It was a few years ago, and it was a reunion show.
Okay.
And I was not part of the original company, but my dear friend Madeline Franklin was directing it for Elgin Theater Company, and I adore Madeline. And
me too.
And MASH has been like one of my favorites forever. Yeah, right, because Madeline, right?
Yep.
So she told me she was directing it, and I'm like, please, can I audition? So I did. That was the first time I worked in Elgin. We were at the Elgin Academy when it existed then. And that was my introduction to Elgin and to Elgin Theater Company. And then from there, just kept doing a few more shows and a few more shows, and a lot with Elgin Theater Company. And now I'm starting to work with Janus Theater Company. So working with more companies in Elgin, I get to see shows from independent players and all the other. You have a lot of theater companies in Elgin. It's
yes.
very rich with theater here. This
Definitely.
is a great cultural center. I love this place. So I've gotten very familiar with Elgin, and I really love it here.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on the air today. This has been great. We have about roughly 5 or 6 minutes left. So is there anything else that you wanted to let people know about the performance, about yourself, about your experience as an actor, and maybe even go into a little bit on the directing side of things too?
Sure, whatever. What do you want to know? Sure. Well, you definitely want to make sure you get your tickets to Elgin Fringe Festival.
Yes.
There's a lot of great acts, but you absolutely want to see Short Showcase A, and you want to see Mobius Theater. And then there's other things in there too. So a lot of great stuff. I'm rehearsing those 2 shows for Elgin Fringe Festival. After that, I will be hosting the Lou Awards ceremony, which will be in Palatine this year.
Nice.
The Lou Awards is an organization that recognizes community theater in the Chicago suburban area. It's got a very wide reach. I know there's some Elgin theater companies who are involved with that organization, and theater companies and other. And so last year they got to have their first awards ceremony. It wasn't their first in person, but it was their first as a full awards program. And I got to MC, which was great. And then for some reason they've asked me back, so I'm hosting again.
They must really like you.
I guess. So now, so I'm writing stuff, but so I'll be hosting that. That'll be the following weekend. That's October 5th, I think. October 3rd on Netflix, the series Monster Season 3 drops, and I did an episode of that.
You did?
I did. They shot several of those scenes were shot in Woodstock. I don't know if people will know that, but
that's something.
When you see the farmhouse in there, that was in Woodstock, and it was a really great location. But yeah, so I'm in an episode of that, so I'm eager for that to see when that drops.
Great.
And then
I see it too, yeah.
And then end of October, beginning of November, with Janus Theater here in Elgin, up at the Showcase, I'll be appearing in Merchant of Venice with an extremely talented cast, directed by a wonderful director, Sean Hargaden. Awesome. And we're just getting started in rehearsals, and it's already electric.
That's fantastic. So for folks who don't know about Fringe Fest, who've never been before, what do you hope people can get out of Creature Feature?
I hope they get a lot of laughs, because it is very funny. And then I hope that they come and embrace all of Fringe Festival, because there's so much. There's art, there's music, there's comedy, there's so much. There's stuff on the streets. There's art everywhere pouring out of the streets of Elgin, which are all under construction right now. But still, it's worth the travel. Find a place to park. You might have to park in Carpentersville and walk in, but that's fine. It's worth it. But just embrace all that Fringe has to offer, because it is so much. And I just hope you just soak up this entire weekend and spend all weekend, go to the shops, go visit places, see a lot of shows, listen to a lot of music, and have a great time.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, you can check out more here at elginfringefestival.com. If you go onto their website, you'll be able to find it there. I've got posted up on the screen here, Short Showcase A. So there it is, Drive-In Theater Creature Feature. There it is.
Lucky Rosenthal, that's who our third guest. Yeah, she's going to be amazing.
That's the thing, again, with Fringe Fest, everyone is so unique. Everyone has their own style, their own personality. And that's what makes the Fringe Fest so fantastic.
It's so eclectic, and it just just pop into something. Just get a ticket, go see something. And if it's not your jam, go see something else because it'll be completely different.
Yeah, they have something for everyone.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And what's cool too is I always like, when it comes to Fringe Fest, I'm always like very open-minded. I come in open-minded and I am like, oh wow, this is so like, it's so unique. And it's, some stuff is weird and different, but in a good way.
Yeah.
In a way that's like, I'm here to express myself. I'm here to tell a story. And I think that it's just very cool.
It really is. And there's so much to absorb. So just take it all in.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, you're very welcome. I appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you. And enjoy the weather, enjoy Fringe Festival, and enjoy the rest of the program.
Absolutely. We'll take a minute time out. We'll be back after this for just a little while. Stay tuned here on Out to Lunch, WRMN AM 1410.